ladies and gentlemen, this is Daniel Umstead, host of the RNG radio show. I've just been having a great wealth of amount of success with this show because of the amazing that come on here. But you know what I got to do first, y'all? I got to break down the bio of my guest that's currently here. So in this podcast, my guest is going to unveil her strategies for cutting through the noise and standing out online, from the psychology of consumer engagement to the nuts and bolts of building a digital presence that lasts, and she'll give you the tools to elevate your brand. This is whether you're a budding entrepreneur, somebody who's been seasoned for quite some time, or just overall passionate about the digital world. Her insights will help you transform your approach to online marketing. So, ladies, strap in. Ladies and gentlemen, strap in. Put your seatbelt on. Get ready. We're about to get into the heart of digital strategy, where she goes over where innovation meets actionable advice, all aimed at driving your business forward in today's digital era. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Tamay, Shannon. Tamay, how are you doing today?
I am doing so very well. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thanks so much for coming on the show. Before I get into these amazing questions that I have right here in front of me, we got to go over the story. What got you interested in digital marketing, and where can folks find you at as well online?
Yeah, I what got me into digital marketing was the economy. So I am what they call an elder millennial, and right when I got out of school, things weren't looking good in the economy. So I was like, let me go get some more schooling. And when I came out again, things still weren't going well. And so I was doing a lot of things on the side to support people, teaching assistant, things like that. And my mother suggested that I start a business. And I thought that was a very bad and horrible idea. Just because I thought I needed to have more, right? I thought I needed to be in corporate for so many years and do this and do this and do that before I could say that I'm an entrepreneur and I'm starting a business. But 6 months, that idea had been knocking around in my head. And so I said, you know what? Let's give it a go. It's just me and a dog. I'll figure it out. And so that's how I got started in marketing. And I chose social media really to specialize and focus on because I think social media is fascinating. I think that the way that we talk and share and leverage social media to grow our business is just interesting. And so I love that mix of art and creative, but also analytics and data. I think it's just cool. I just get geeked about it.
Awesome, awesome. I love it. And how long have you been doing this now?
13 years.
15 years. Wow, that incredible journey, incredible journey. Now, so I want to go over some aha moments because everybody learns those lessons in life. Don't
Mhm.
touch the stove when it's hot.
Right.
I'll never forget it to this day. As you were going through your journey, was there any like strategies or concept that really transformed the way that had supported your clients through digital marketing and branding?
Yeah. One of the things that I learned for myself and that I really, really push or encourage for others is this idea of authenticity, and not the authenticity where you got to share everything like, oh, let me tell you what I have for breakfast. Ain't nobody
Ooh,
care about
authentic.
that, right? Not that authenticity, but really standing on your values and your brand values and just saying that with your whole chest. And so even when it gets difficult, still showing up as you. That is what I make sure that my clients do. That's what I make sure that I do, because what happens is you draw the community around you that wants to support you, that wants to be there for you, that will defend you in the comments, that will shoot you opportunities, that will tell you, hey, I'm not telling you, but if you go do this thing, good things are going to happen, right? Like you will have people who will be in rooms that you cannot be because you show up authentically, consistently as yourself. And then added to that, just the way that we're going and marketing and just the way that the tide is turning, that is something that people are now demanding. They want to know what you stand for. They want to know who you are before they do business with you. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I love it because there's so much phishing and scamming going on. For LinkedIn, I had to reverse my messages because before I was like, "Hey, I want them to know that I am authentic,
Mhm,
and that that I am real." But because there's so many phishing scams, you do
mhm,
better just sending out just a general connection request and
mhm,
then waiting for a reply and then make that
mhm,
connection. So
mhm.
it's crazy, where we transfer from, where we're going to. But before we continue on with this interview, I forgot to ask you or have you bring up where can folks find you at on social media?
Yeah, the best place you can find me. So if you want to find me on LinkedIn, Tamay Shannon, I am the only one. So it won't be hard to find me there. Or if you are an IG person, W2S Marketing.
Yeah, great, awesome, awesome. And then my next question, we all get those facepalm moments like, duh, why didn't I think of that? Or our 2020 vision gets blurred because we're thinking too perfection of it. Is there any like memorable missteps that you had like out in the social media world that turned into valuable lessons, and how did you bounce back from them?
Yeah, I think my memorable lessons just come from, making mistakes and having them be public, right? And so whether that's misspelling an important partner's name, even though I thought I double checked it, even though I was like, no, I reviewed this and somehow it is still misspelled and the partner is not happy, So whether it's something like that or you know, putting the wrong graphics for the wrong account, things like that, where I got to see, okay, I'm going to make mistakes because I'm human. And it allowed me, because there's only so much processes will take you. Processes don't cut out mistakes; they just lessen them. And so I was like, okay, my processes are already on point because da 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 da. What can I do? Oh, I need to have conversations. So really, those mistakes allow me to get better at having difficult conversations where I messed up with the client, because I've had conversations where the client was doing something, was like, hey, this doesn't work because we've got to deliver these results. But how do I have a conversation, take responsibility, and live up to the bargain and my promises such that the clients continue with me happily, right? And so that is where those mistakes let me, is like, how do I have those conversations to restore faith and value, or faith in me, faith in the company, things like that. And those are very, very hard conversations to have, but they're very important because um, if I didn't have them, it would mean that I'm not, for me, it would indicate that I'm not playing on a big enough field. If I'm not making mistakes, that means I'm not traipsing into areas that I don't know about, or not areas that I don't know about, but expanding my horizons. If I'm just sticking with exactly with what I know and not trying out AI, that means I'm not increasing my skill set. That means I'm not being more valuable as a partner to the people that I work with because I'm not learning. And so I know that even though I don't like making mistakes, it irritates me. It makes me feel bad. I'm like, crap. But knowing that I'm making mistakes lets me know that I am trying out new knowledge. I am trying out new ways of doing business. And therefore, I become more valuable to the people that I work with because I'm like, oh, watch out for this, or this thing happens, or don't do this, or yeah, we did that last year. It doesn't work out for this type of business. It does work out for this type of business. So, yeah, long answer, but yes.
No, 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 I appreciate that. And you brought up a couple of things, and I'm hoping folks were paying attention to it. We talked about being authentic, with the branding, but with authenticity, oh, I said it right. You develop this sort of comfort zone, if you will. But
Mhm.
in order for us to grow out of that comfort zone, we need to see those failures. We need to see those
Yeah.
mistakes. Like, hey, I misspelled somebody's name, but it's like, now what's my new process for double checking and making sure? And then it goes back to accountability, and
Yeah.
I think it's still full circle because while you're being accountable for your actions, you're also being authentic in the same way because you're
Yeah.
showing somebody like, hey, I made the mistake. This is me. How can we resolve this matter moving forward? So thank you. Thank you for that, Tamay. Now, as far as deep diving a little bit personal, what does a day in the life look like for you? Like, you are this digital media expert. You've got this branding, the social media tools are out there and you're just learning, learning, learning. But what is it the day of the life of Tamay Shannon looks like for the audience out here?
Yeah, for me, it starts off with planning my day in tea, and I just take time to look at the actions and activities I'm going to do and make sure that they're aligned with the goals that I want to produce. Because I know that for a while I was doing a lot of things, and these things were important. They needed to be done, but they weren't in alignment with my bigger goals. And so I would get to the middle of the year, or I get to the end of the year and I'm like, wow, I did a lot of cool things, really, really great things that, contribute to my credibility, contribute to my, the authorship or blah, 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 great projects, portfolio building, wonderful, all of that stuff. But these three goals that I said I wanted, I didn't progress in them like I thought I would. And so now when I sit down, not only am I looking at, all right, gotta send this email, gotta create this proposal, gotta fulfill, this deliverable. Not only am I looking at that, but I'm looking at my bigger goals and saying, all right, I want to do this thing this year. I want to be booked on 5 stages this year. Have I sent out the proposals? Have I followed up? Have I pitched? Have I researched? And I'm like, oh, if I haven't done that, I'm like, okay, let me make sure I have 10 people to reach out to. So I start off my day like that just to make sure that I am on track for my major goals. But it also helps me to get out of my own way. I notice that if I have to decide in the moment what to do to do next, it is usually not a good decision. But if I just look at my calendar and say, "Oh, this is what's next on the list," I get to execute. I move faster. So planning my day starts off, and then from there, it's all about execution and sales and being consistent in sales. So whether that's posting something on social media for myself, doing a webinar, doing a reel, sending a newsletter, reaching out, but always making sure that I'm consistent in my sales activity so that I don't have super high highs and super low lows in the revenue of my business.
Awesome. I love that. And what really pointed out to me is that you align your activities with your goals, and you make it simple to do it because, like you said, if I'm looking to be booked on a stage, did I even send out a proposal? Did I even take the action to research, what companies that I do want to be aligned with? And I hope folks will listen because I wrote this down, the blueprint for success. So that's merely what it is. You have your goals down of what you want to accomplish and making sure that a number is attached to it, saying that I want to get on the stage this year. Okay, local elementary school will pick you right up for whatever that you want to do. But when we're specific as far as the number of times that we want to do something, in addition, the presence, the location, and we get more honed in, subconsciously our brain is like, wait, well, you need to get this done, or you need to
Yeah.
make sure that gets done. And you said, like, hey, I'm starting my day doing this. So, ladies and gentlemen, hope y'all was listening. My goodness. So, I got a fun question for you. If you were stranded on a desert island, but you got plenty of Wi-Fi,
Okay. All right.
but unfortunately stranded, what three social media tools would you have, and could you tell us why?
So, yeah. Okay. So if I were stranded, I would do either the three tools that I would have. I would totally have TikTok and Instagram.
Okay.
Um, TikTok for visually entertaining, and I am pretty sure there is somebody on TikTok who has a whole thing based on if you're stranded, this is how you survive, right? So TikTok for that, Instagram for staying connected, and then LinkedIn for getting myself making connections, getting myself off the island.
Okay. All right. And I'm curious because I know folks are like, she didn't mention Facebook or Meta. Well, why not? Can you say, like, if let's say there was a fourth category, would you include Facebook, or is there a reason why you didn't include Facebook?
So I the reason why I didn't include Facebook is honestly just as a professional who uses it in their business, I'm tired. Facebook doesn't make it easy. Their customer service isn't good, and so they just don't make it easy to use Facebook for business use cases. And I know that, look, they're running their business how they want to. I'm not mad at that. I'm just tired and I'm stranded on an island. I don't want to be dealing with crappy customer service, Facebook. So that's why I didn't choose Facebook, even though it does have relevancy and value and all of that. But yeah.
No. And what you call it, the one thing that I picked up was, I believe it's called the Business Suite for
Mhm.
Instagram. And they provide you with all these tools and settings that you can set up for yourself, that it becomes automated, as
Mhm.
such. And the exposure, nothing wrong with Facebook. We love
Mhm.
Facebook, y'all.
Right.
Don't get mad at us. But with Instagram, you have more of that exposure, along with the stories, along with creating that page, tagging folks. And it's more of that direct connection,
Mhm.
although it may seem stalkerish, because I'm pretty sure Drake and them are probably getting more than enough messages,
Right.
especially Diddy nowadays.
Right.
So, I'm sure they're getting more messages than they would get on Facebook, but it's still that stronger potential of creating that business connection when folks are aligned. I can
Yeah.
tell you a slew of my guests have come from either I saw something on their page, they saw something on mine, and we directly connected. So, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. Now, if you could imagine collaborating with any entrepreneur,
Okay.
uh, any business leader, past or present, on a social media campaign, who would it be, and what kind of campaign would you love to create together with that individual?
Ooh, okay. So I've been thinking about this and it's a toss up, right? Because so this is going to be super weird, right? But one of them would be Frederick Douglass.
Okay.
Because, right? I know, weird. What? Um because the he was a great orator, an amazing orator, really could put together a speech, a sentence in a way that would move people. And so I would love to have that genius skills and capabilities on TikTok to see what would just arise and create. Like, what kind of influencer would Frederick Douglass be, right? Because yeah, like just so yeah, that's what I would do.
Okay, no. I'm for that, and it's crazy you mentioned somebody from the past, because there's a young black gentleman who actually recently did a skit with Neo, and I think it was just because of his exposure. And what he does is he'll do funny Beethoven skits, as far as, like, if
Mm,
Beethoven were around, where cars were invented and 8 tracks were installed, what would it look like? And it's like you hear the dun 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 dun, and it's like, yo, did he just drop this? So if you can imagine for yourself, it's like, hey, what would that campaign look like? So, no, I appreciate that for sharing. Now, I love your energy, to make. We're both vibing with one another, but we're not always like this.
no. Oh,
Sometimes that tea is not coming out the right way. Or like this morning, I almost cried a little bit because I forgot to go get coffee. Yet I do
mhm,
have coffee, but I need to buy a coffee grinder
mhm,
to make said coffee, and I had a little teardrop. But when those times where we're just not feeling motivated or
mhm.
inspired, what's your go-to? What keeps you going, during those ugly days, or even those sad rainy days?
Yeah, that's so it goes one of two ways, and it just depends, and it's a case by case basis, and I can't tell you when I pick option A or when I pick option B. But
Yeah.
option A is buck up, put your big girl's panties on, and let's go. Do the thing. Like sometimes it's just like there's nothing to it but to do it, whether I feel like it, whether I hate it, whether I'm crying and complaining, whether life sucks. You've got to do this task, so do the task, right? So there's days where I just do that, and then option B is where I will go to a biz bestie or a biz friend and be like, I don't want to do this no more. I don't like it. It's hard. I don't understand like when we get to that space of overwhelm as a business owner and it feels like nothing is going right, like everything you do is not working, then, sometimes I'll reach out to biz bestie and as a space um, to complain, to really just complain because that's valid and it gets it out to somebody who understands what it's like to always be making all the decisions and always having to figure it out and always having to create. That can get tiring. So it's either, buck up or go and vent to a fellow business person, fellow entrepreneur to get myself out of the space to give myself the space to be there because it to say that it doesn't happen or to say that it shouldn't happen is weird because we're human and we're going to have those days. And so, yeah, that's how I deal with it, A or B.
Okay, I love that. No, and I actually wrote down biz bestie. I'm like, do I have a biz bestie? Who is my biz bestie? I do have besties that I vent to, like, oh my gosh, this person didn't show up for this podcast, or this person never got back to me. If I could post it, I don't know if I can. So, I'll panic in that way talking to said besties, but it's like, I need to find my biz bestie
Mhm.
that's going through the same thing with me. So thank you for that, Jem. So y'all need to start looking out there. LinkedIn is a great place to start. Hope they pay me for that. What are some things that you're currently working on right now? And the year is 2024. What can we see maybe in the next 5 years from you, Tamay?
Yeah, in the next 5 years, it's definitely going to be a deeper dive, not only into social and how we communicate from, business owner to client, but how technology is infused into that. So, what does it look like 6 months from now when everybody knows how to create their own AI generated images and their own AI mock-ups? And so we're going to get to this level, this area, this place where we're going to really become technologically adept at using it in our marketing. And so when we get to really have the creativity that's in our mind mirror what's on the screen and back and forth, and then it becomes a really great synergy. I think marketing is going to become hopefully super fun again and super creative and super interesting, and not just following what's worked in the past or not just following best practices, but having fun and really, really tapping into who people are and talking to people instead of talking to a group of people in a very generalized way.
Okay. I love that. I love that. Thank you so much for that insight. As we close out, any parting words for the audience? And again, where can folks find you at on social media?
Yeah, I think my parting advice is really this is the time. Now is the time to get comfortable and familiar with AI. Not that you have to use it, not that you've got to leverage it, but it is a tool that is really impacting business owners, whether you'll be able to do data analysis on your e-commerce store, whether you're creating marketing, ebooks, whether you're looking at future projections about what to order or not to order. But AI is really becoming a part of business as a whole. So becoming comfortable with it is one way to be a better business owner. And where you can find me, definitely find me on LinkedIn, Tamay Shannon. There is one of me, so you'll see me pop up at the top. Or if you are an Instagram person because you like those pictures, W2S Marketing on Instagram.
Awesome. Tamay, I can't thank you enough for the gems that you dropped today, the insight. I hope folks are repeating this over and over again, especially to definitely boost up their business. Like I said, the biggest thing, folks, align your activities with goals. That's what I got today. So,
Yep.
Tamay, thank you again so much. And definitely looking forward to having you come back.
Yeah, I definitely look forward to being back.
Thank you for tuning in to the RNG Radio Show. Be sure to like and subscribe for more episodes and future content. If you'd like to learn more, visit us at danielumstead.com. Stay blessed, my fellow millionaires.